Welcome to Mobile Home Friend YouTube channel, your go-to resource for everything manufactured housing.
Welcome to another deep dive from Mobile Home Friend. Today we are looking at where your mobile home is really losing heat, based on our latest research at mobilehomefriend.com. Okay, let's just get right into it, because we have to bust the biggest myth right from the get-go. For years, pretty much everyone has pointed to the thin walls in a mobile home and said, aha, that's the problem. But you know what? That's not even close to the full picture. The real reason your feet are freezing and your heating bill is through the roof is this hidden force we call the belly vacuum. It's a problem that starts from the ground up, not from the walls in. Exactly. You've got to stop thinking about heat loss as just a matter of insulation thickness. It's way bigger than that. It's a complete system failure of what's called the home's thermal envelope. And when you feel that icy draft, that's the system breaking down. The true culprit isn't just a lack of insulation, it's uncontrolled air infiltration. Cold air is literally on the move, flowing right through your home where it has no business being. And this right here gets to the absolute core of the difference. A traditional site-built home? It's sitting on a foundation, right? It's connected to the ground, which keeps its temperature pretty stable. But a mobile home is raised up on a chassis. And that huge empty space underneath, well, it basically becomes a giant heat sink. Wind just whips under there, constantly stealing heat away from your floor. Your entire floor is completely exposed to the elements. Right, and that exposed floor, it becomes the main entry point for this incredibly powerful force of physics that is working against your furnace 24/7. And this is the one concept that, once you really get it, changes everything about how you see your home. It's called the stack effect, and what it does essentially is turn your entire home into one big chimney. Yeah, it's a basic law of physics you just can't get around. Think about it. It makes perfect sense. Warm air is lighter, it's less dense, so of course it's going to rise. And as that warm air escapes at the very top of your home, it creates a vacuum, a negative pressure zone down at the lowest level. Your house literally starts sucking in cold air from underneath to fill that void. The stack effect, that's the engine driving almost all of your heat loss. So let's just walk through this step by step. First, your furnace kicks on, heats the air, and that air rises straight to the ceiling. Simple. Step 2, that warm air finds any little escape route it can, gaps around light fixtures, leaky vents, you name it, and it gets out. Step 3, as that air leaves, bam, the vacuum is created down below. And that leads to step 4, the house aggressively pulls in cold air from the easiest place it can find, which is almost always through rips in the belly and leaks in the floor. So the big takeaway here is you can't fix the cold floor until you stop the air from leaking out of the ceiling. Okay, so now that we get the physics behind it, where are the biggest problem areas? Where is the stack effect really doing the most damage? Well, our forensic investigation points to 3 main culprits that are responsible for the vast majority of heat loss. Let's break them down. Culprit number 1, and trust me, it is the big one, the belly. That black material under your home, the belly wrap, is supposed to do one job: hold your floor insulation up tight against your subfloor. But the second it gets ripped or torn, that insulation starts to sag. And even a tiny 1-inch gap creates what we call a convection loop. Cold air gets into that gap and just circulates, washing the heat right out of your floor. This one problem alone can account for up to 30% of your total heat loss. It's huge. And that brings us to the next massive problem, which is your ductwork. Because where does it run? In that exact same cold, drafty, compromised belly. So if your ducts are leaky or they've come disconnected, which is incredibly common, you are literally just pumping your expensive heated air directly into the crawl space. We've seen homes where a staggering 40% of what the furnace produces never even makes it into the house. Think about that. It's a catastrophic waste of money. And finally, for anyone living in a double wide, we have to talk about the marriage line. This is the seam where the 2 halves of your home were put together at the factory. Over time, as the home settles and shifts, a gap can form there. And what you can end up with is, essentially, a 60-foot-long, unsealed crack running right down the middle of your entire home. It is often the single biggest source of air leaks in the whole building. So, after all that bad news, what do we do about it? What's the plan? Well, the logic is actually really simple, and it's non-negotiable. You have to seal first and insulate second. You have to stop the air from moving before you even think about adding more insulation. Trying to insulate a leaky home is, well, it's like trying to fill a bucket that's full of holes. You gotta plug the holes first. And The best news is that the most effective fixes are usually the cheapest. Just look at this cost breakdown. For a couple $100 of materials and a weekend, you can do some serious DIY air sealing and belly repair that will make a massive difference. Now, compare that to spending, say, 10 grand on new windows, which honestly are often not the main problem anyway. The bang for your buck you get from just sealing leaks is absolutely huge. So here's your action plan, your triage checklist. Start by checking that marriage line for drafts. Then you gotta get under the home and do a full audit of the belly. Look for any rips, tears, or sagging insulation. And hey, don't forget the small stuff. Pull up your floor registers and make sure the ducts are sealed tight to the boot. And as we noted on the site, using mastic sealant for this, not just regular duct tape, is absolutely critical. You can find all the right product recommendations for that over on mobilehomefriend.com. You know, it's so important to change the way you think about this kind of work. This is not just another repair. It's not just an expense you have to deal with. Not at all. When you properly air seal your home's envelope, you are making a true capital improvement. You're protecting the long-term value and the structural integrity of what is probably your biggest asset. And the numbers really don't lie. Let's say a comprehensive sealing project costs you around $4,500. Well, over 10 years, that project could easily save you more than $10,000 in energy costs. The project literally pays for itself more than twice over. It's one of the smartest financial moves a homeowner can possibly make. And hey, if you want the full technical breakdown of the ROI, just check out the post on mobilehomefriend.com. And there's another huge benefit here, especially if you're ever thinking about selling your home down the road. These fixes are officially classified as capital improvements. That means you can add the cost to your home's basis. So what does that actually mean for you? It means it can reduce the capital gains tax you have to pay when you sell. So you're not just saving money every month on your bills, you're actually protecting your equity in the long run. So we'll just leave you with this one simple question. Now that you understand how the stack effect works, you've really got to ask yourself, is your home just leaking heat or is it leaking money? Thanks for watching. For more guides and the full article on this topic, head over to mobilehomefriend.com. And don't forget to check the links in the description below.
Thanks for watching. For more technical guides on this topic, click the link to see the in-depth article over at mobilehomefriend.com. There are many more informational dives into manufactured home topics to investigate and keep your project moving forward.